What's up, guys?
Hey.
This is my friend Jake. This is his first time being on the channel, and he's just going to be joining us for the conversation. But what we're going to be talking about today, I mean, it might be a little all over the place because we're all going to have different things to say about it, but really the main point is how high doses of psychedelics shift our perspectives of reality. So I have a few different bullet points here, and I guess it's just a matter of who wants to get the ball rolling with what they want to talk about. But yeah, it's up for air. Whoever wants to start, you know, if you want me to start, I'll go.
I'll start. I think for my experience, it was like the best way I can describe it for my most recent high dose experience, which was 8 grams of mushrooms we did a few days ago, is the most humbling trip of my life by far. Like it showed me basically how little I was. It broke down my ego entirely and made me feel like I lost my sense of identity. Like I said, I had an ego death. It just sort of broke everything down, you know, and showed me something more than any other experience I've ever had shown me previously. Like my highest dose before this was a 6-gram trip and on shrooms. And at the time I thought that was a high dose. Like I thought that was way out there. Yeah, and it is. I'm not saying it's not, but like an 8-gram dose, it like wiped it completely away, bro. Like it was by far and away the most intense experience of my entire life, like easily.
I don't doubt that one bit, man.
You know, and him saying that reminds me of like the second trip we did together as friends. We went to San Francisco, tripped in like these botanical gardens over there, and this was maybe around like 6 grams we did, and I think maybe it was like an ego dissolution stage I got to during the peak, but I mean, who knows? I don't know completely.
Wait, this was an experience you had like in the past?
Yeah, like us together. This was probably like the first really high dose I did, and one of the last, honestly. I've only done 2 high doses.
Same.
Yeah, and you said you experienced some sort of ego dissolution.
Yeah, because
as well.
Like time and space was really warped, and I remember I forgot where I was and what we were doing, and I was like just like flopping around doing weird shit, and
I couldn't we'll talk about like animalistic and primal roots, but I literally during that experience was like tapped into the point where I couldn't help but stand up and like beat my chest and let out a roar. I couldn't
Wait,
like
that dude.
Yeah, I couldn't help it.
That's kind of what I want to be talking about, is the fact that psychedelics do things like that and kind of go over why it is that we find ourselves thinking the way we do after having these high dose psychedelic experiences. Like the first thing I have listed here is how the mind works on high doses of psychedelics. Now that is a fucking huge thing to talk about, you know, in itself. But like, think of any time you've been blasted on psychedelics and the way in which your thoughts are carrying from one to the next, and how it almost seems like multiple parts of your brain are communicating with each other like simultaneously. This is actually shown in studies with psilocybin specifically, but that the psilocybin is causing your brain's neural pathways to rapidly communicate with different parts of itself that it usually doesn't. And you know, like if you've been in high doses, if you really look at how your mind is working and how it's all like dissolving behind you but blossoming in front of you, and it, like, you know what I mean, in that same moment, like the places you can get your own mind into while on a high dose of psychedelic is enough to completely lift your boundaries of belief and what you think reality is. And just that these, you know, maybe even moderate doses, but that these high doses of psychedelics bring out this sort of questioning nature, you know? When you're really fucked up on psychedelics, some people, not all people, start to think about and question these really deep and fundamental things like, how the fuck is this happening right now? Or what is happening right now? You know what I mean?
Like,
or
where are we?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How is this even possible? Shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like just sitting and observing the high dose experience without your mind is enough to change your perspective of reality and to completely shift how you think about reality, you know, just in the sense of how your own mind is functioning, you know?
I think it almost takes the effort of thinking out of you. When you hit a certain dosage, it sort of just starts to show you things. And you have to, as long as you go with it, I think it sort of removes that inner voice that's like working things out and like compartmentalizing thoughts, and it just shows you more that thoughts are just another thing that happened to you.
Yeah, because
right. No, I know just what you're fucking talking about, man. Like,
because like I'll have oh, sorry, we're gonna go.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Say what you gotta say.
Fuck, what was I gonna say again? Oh yeah, no, I've had thoughts that come up out of nowhere on psychedelics, and it's like, I feel as if I'm not even in control of those thoughts. Like they'll just pop up and like come about at random points, and it's like that thought leads to a question, and then that thought leads to another question, and it goes down a road, and then you start thinking about like almost conspiracies in a way. Like I'll start thinking about how like, okay, well, what happens after death? What if our whole life is a lie? What, you know, like I'll question
and those are called. I mean, conspiracy is a word you could use for it, but those are really called delusions or becoming delirious, where you start to believe this thing you've imagined that you can't prove.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Like thinking you're gonna be stuck tripping forever. You know it. I'm fucked. I fucked myself. I'm stuck tripping. This is never going away. That is a full-on psychological delusion induced not only, you know, it's catalyzed by the psychedelic, but really induced by yourself in how your mind can work on these high doses, you know, and that's like part of what I'm talking about. And like what I think you were talking about, if I understand it correctly, is how usually in day-to-day life it seems like you're the thinker of all the thoughts. But on a high dose of psychedelics, it's almost like you're plucked out of the thinking mind and are finally, maybe seemingly for once, seeing the thoughts be thoughts as just this aspect of reality. And you know, this brings me down to another point of like feeling as though you were just awareness, which we can get into, but realizing that your mind is not necessarily what's going on. Your mind is this racing thing trying to make out and, you know, define and like shine a light on what's going on. Yeah, like a radar is kind of the word I was trying to think of. But yeah, sometimes on high doses it can seem like you're pulled out of that or go up above that and can see that whole process taking place and how you're not actually that. And so you're not actually trapped in that, you know?
You think that's a part of like ego dissolution then, huh? Like
right, that could easily lead into a state of ego death and feeling as though you are just awareness, which is how I have it worded in one of my bullets here. But yeah, Alex, if you want to touch on one of your points you got, dude, go for it.
So this is a point I just was starting to think about when you guys were talking about this, and I was thinking about how like shroom trips, at least that's all I've really done is shrooms, high doses of shrooms, and they feel like sexual. Like It's like
that's not even weird to me, homie.
it's just like, bro, I couldn't stop like fucking touching him. Not like I wasn't like fucking grabbing his nuts or anything, but like I couldn't like stop. I couldn't stop like touching their like legs or like their shoulders. You know, just like parts of them was like this. I feel like this strong masculine energy. You know, like all I could talk about was masculinity and all that.
Wait, you were saying like you couldn't stop touching your shoulders up against them and stuff?
Well, like I couldn't stop like touching myself and like touching, you know, like their like shoulders or like knees or whatever.
Yeah. Dude, there's nothing weird about that. And you know, the first thing I think about when you tell me that is the tribe. The human fucking tribe that is a part of this journey of life. And, you know, feeling that energy and connection between one another, you know, because I've been in states where it feels as though I'm very a part of and connected to this person that I'm tripping with, you know what I mean? And they might as well be me, you know, type thing. And I feel like it's a sort of like, we keep saying animalistic and bringing that up. I feel like it's a sort of animalistic, primal, like experiencer of this creative, completely imaginary thing going on, you know? Mm-hmm. Imaginary in the sense that it's like ineffable. And it's the tribe experiencing it together, you know, as an evolving species. Crazy vibe.
No, dude, you're right. It feels like we're almost like merging with like another reality, like we're a mixture of both, you know, like another dimension almost. Like where we're like part third dimension, but we're also part like fourth dimension or fifth dimension or whatever. Where it's just like we feel like that strong energy that just like, wow, I've never felt this before.
Overall, it feels like what they are teaching us is old as fuck. Like ancient, bro.
Yeah.
Like, in all my experiences combined, it seems like the intelligence that is being conveyed, that is coming through, is primordial and like essential type thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like a new fucking idea. Maybe to your cultural time and space oriented mind that just learned this new idea, but little do you know that's how it's been. And if the psychedelics is just trying to get you to remember that, you know? Like taking mushrooms or DMT or ayahuasca and going to the places you go to, it's like that shit's been around for thousands of fucking years,
bro.
dude.
And that reminds me of a couple of my shroom trips where I'll be sitting there and I'm just like, I'll be viewing the world as if, because I get a great view of like nature. Typically we go to some view or some place out in nature, and so I'll be sitting there thinking as if I'm a historic human being, like as if I'm roaming the lands for like the first time, and I'm just a spectator, you know. That's how I feel.
Wait, what did you say? You feel like you're a what human being?
Oh, like a prehistoric human, like a very, you know, early human being roaming the lands, just like spectating and seeing everything for the first time almost. I'll get that feeling, and I'll see like old ass like Native American tribal symbols and stuff like that.
Not even like while on psychedelics.
While on psychedelics.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No. Yeah.
Like if you weren't on psychedelics, I was gonna say, well, there you go. That's how psychedelics shift your perspective of reality.
Yeah.
Like holy fuck.
Yeah. But no, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Do you guys have anything else that ties into like how the mind plays, like how the mind works on high doses of psychedelics?
Oh, you talking about the neuroscience behind like all of our like neural pathways crossing and communicating with each other or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I forgot what I was gonna say about it honestly, but it was just like it makes me think that we're able to almost how do you say it, like connect to like I don't know, bro. Like the word I can think of, the only word I can think of is like dimension. You know, like we're able to go to where, you know, the gods exist. At least what we think of as gods.
What if it is another fucking dimension? You know, like the way we describe dimensions, we got space, we got time. I mean, what's the third dimension?
Space, time. I don't know.
Why is it 3 dimensions? I don't know, but like the awareness that you come into on psychedelics very well could be another form of a dimension we're entering into or coming out of, you know what I mean? But as far as like how your neuro pathways work on psychedelics, you know, I was able to witness a really interesting experience. You know, I was in a sober state of consciousness, and my brother was on 3.5 grams of some really, really strong penis envy mushrooms. And we were in this talk about like I don't know exactly what we were talking about, but he would get talking, and he would, like, when he wouldn't be aware of his own mind, he would get talking and saying these things, and the way he's wording things, in my sober state of mind, I'm like realizing, like, bro, like, his intelligence is flowing at a peak right now. Like, his ability to articulate and convey what he knows informationally is, like, in a flow state right now. And I told him about it, and it was like right when he was told about it, he wasn't able to go back into it. Mm-hmm. Because it was a sort of unconscious, just a function of the psychedelic in its natural way, you know, without being aware of it.
Dude, that's kind of actually for some reason that reminds me, bro, of like my recent trip where I don't know, I was like articulating my words better than I ever have before. So I was like spewing words of wisdom. It felt like for me, at least at the time. But it's like when I came back down, like I felt like I was just not. It was like illiterate almost. Like I was back to the state of mind I was before, and I was just, I don't know, saying dumb shit. And like not articulating my words, not, you know, using or not making more coherent sentences, if that makes any sense.
When you're on a high dose, you're probably not even realizing it. Wait, did I just hear something?
Yeah.
Oh, but you're probably not even realizing it, but you're with a group of people and you're all tripping balls. You're probably not making any fucking sense while you're talking.
Yeah.
But the information that is being comprehended in your head, in their head, is enough to convey the profound nature of what's going on, you know? Uh-huh. And then you come back down, you come off of the psychedelic, and you go back into that, like you don't have access to that inner knowing anymore, or at least as intense as it was while you were on the psychedelic. And you were probably wording things the same friggin' way, but like the knowing in it is what was enhanced by the psychedelic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why when you come down with a group of friends, you're like, what the fuck did we even realize? What did we just go through? You know what I mean?
It's like in one ear, out the other almost, like when you come down.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Dude, DMT trips are like chronically like that sometimes. Like it happens and then it's gone, and it's like a dream that you can barely even say happened, and you're like, what the fuck was that? You know, and you want to try to go back and get a better look at it, you know, but sometimes it's that way every time. You don't get to take something from it, you know?
I feel like that's very similar to dreams, because when you wake up, you take like bits and pieces from it, but you're not able to interpret the entire thing. Like I feel like a DMT trip is probably very similar to that, even though I've never tripped on DMT.
You're there for it. You're there for it. You are there looking at these completely insane hallucinations behind your eyelids, you know, and if
Yeah.
you were to try and open your eyes and sit up and be back in the room hanging out, the fucking world around you would be completely destroying itself with hallucinations. And it's like, that's why you just sit there and close your eyes and watch, because this fucking insane thing is moving through you, and it's like, just sit and watch, dude, just be with it while it's here, because it's not like anything else, dude. It's fucking, it's wild.
Got this.
And I guess that kind of leads into my next point, is how visual hallucinations play a role in shifting our perspectives of reality. Oh, just kind of seeing if I was laggy or not.
No, you're good.
But yeah, what are your first thoughts towards that? Like, how, like, hallucinations that you've had, how does that play a role on your perspective or thoughts on reality?
You know,
Think about that.
When you were talking about shutting your eyes, I think one reason why we might have all started panicking was because we had our eyes open the entire time, looking like moment by moment at how much more intense it was getting, and like seeing like our complete physical reality was being taken away, and that it probably would have been a little bit easier if we just keep our eyes shut and just like let it move through us, like you said. And you know, like keeping your eyes open, of course you're seeing those visuals, but through like the physical lens you're like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's literally the only shit going through your head. Like, what the fuck is going on, bro?
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
I've had I think my 6 gram dose was where I remember specifically seeing, like, I might have said this before, but I looked into a tree and I saw like a figure of a queen, and I was like showing my friends as if it was actually there, but I was on 6 grams of mushrooms. I thought it was actually like there, and I was seeing like dancing and people in like the trees and faces morphing and all that type of stuff, man. And like, I don't know exactly what it represented, because I also saw Native American tribal symbols, like I was saying, and I don't know exactly like what that represented, but I do know that like that's when I began to enhance my appreciation for nature. So like that's when I really became fascinated with it, and I like to do a bunch of gardening now and like just always go on walks or anywhere I can go. So I think that's probably like a way in which hallucinations have kind of altered, I suppose, or shifted my perspective on basically life.
how about you, Alex?
How about me, what?
Like, what are your thoughts on how visual hallucinations have shifted your perspective of reality?
You know, honestly, that brings me back to actually, hold on, 1, 2, 3, like my 4th trip that I did. I remember we were going to plan to go up to Lake Tahoe, and you know, the mountains where it snows in the winter, and we're gonna go like, we're like, oh, we're gonna trip out here in the snow, bro. It's gonna be lit as fuck, and then he got sick, so we didn't get to go. I was like kind of bummed, but it allowed me to get closer with our other friend. And when we came back, we planned a trip about 1 week later back at home, and at that time, you know, the grass is green and it's like basically springtime ready, and you're like, oh, bro, or not springtime, it was January, never mind, but it was winter and the grass is still green because it rains, it doesn't snow here. And I remember how beautiful it was seeing the green hills and like the January sunset, and it was like so cool being out there. We're just like chilling, like doing weird movements, listening to music, and it was just one of those
vibing with yourself.
Yeah, it was just like one of those like nice moderate doses where you're like just having good ass time and nothing really bothering you. And that's when I really grew an appreciation for nature like he did. But that was like my subjective experience with that trip.
Yeah, I guess everybody's different, you know. Not everybody apparently not everybody has profound visual hallucinations, but like that is a huge part of what has completely taken my breath away with psychedelics. You know, to put aside all the emotions and thoughts and epiphanies that take place while on a high dose of psychedelics, let's just take a fucking moment to stop and look at what is happening while we're on this high dose. Because, dude, like, I cannot fathom it, man. Like, LSD, not so much with mushrooms. I haven't had very intricate hallucinations with mushrooms. But LSD, DMT, Changa, all these things I have stared with my real eyes at the most impossible transformations of shape and color and pattern and depth, and it's fucking nuts, and it's moving. The entire world around you is moving. You look at one tiny little part, and it's moving and breathing and running and flowing and pulsating and doing this insane shit, you know, and that's LSD, you know, and just the overwhelming, it makes reality look fucking magic, you know. If people are throwing balls around while you're high as fuck on LSD, and there's all these lights and lasers and all this stuff, it literally looks like a fantasy world. It is like nothing you've ever seen before. And to talk about DMT, the shit you see on that shit, you know, you take a huge hit and you throw your fucking hands into your eyes and you see pitch black, and then all of a sudden you see these things that look like fucking like the northern lights, and then they grow and fucking change into these insane like things that are wrapping around you, and there's tentacles and these shapes and little molecules, and dude, it's like, I cannot stress enough how insane the visual phenomenon of psychedelics is. It's enough. Alone, it's enough to fucking blow me the fuck away, and to realize what is reality. If this piece of paper or a couple tokes off this powder can make it completely destroy itself, you know. And when I say destroy itself, I don't mean chaos, because psychedelic visuals are very intelligent. It's like it's a dimension you're seeing into. It's another dimension of how existence forms itself and is happening.
I think the only thing that I could compare it to, intelligence-wise, would be nature and the natural way that things grow.
Oh,
and
yeah,
and, like,
dude.
the intelligence of
Fuck
that.
yeah.
And the way it all works is one thing.
The
And I was going to say, I think part of what makes visual hallucinations change your perspective of reality is by literally changing it, like in your eyes. It's like you're just, right now you can say this is my reality, but it's just what you're seeing right now. And then it's like you take these high doses of psychedelics and what you're seeing is something completely different. But you're not different. Sure, there's something in your brain, but it's like, it's just as real to you in that moment
right
as anything else.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder, this is just a hallucination? What the fuck do you mean this is just a hallucination? It's the same, it's happening in the same field, in the same playing field as this right now. Where hallucinations take place is right here in this visual thing that we call reality. Next thing you know, this reality is a fucking alien that's alive, and every bit of it is moving, and it's crazy, bro. Like I said, it's enough to make you question, okay, what is reality like? Can I sense it? Can I sense reality wrong? Am I sensing more of reality right now? Am I messed up in my head right now? You know, stuff like that.
I think each reality is just subjective, probably.
Yeah. not one ultimate reality.
It's crazy.
Life is what you make it.
Yeah, that's simply put, bro, but it's true in a bittersweet kind of way, you know, where life is what we make it, and then, oh fuck, life is what we make it.
Yeah.
Shit, I better take it easy.
I mean, reality is weird, bro. I mean, it makes me, after this last trip we had, dude, like, I spent the entire come down and, like, the entire night just thinking about everything that you could possibly think of, like thinking, like, bro, about your shortcomings and, like, how to change that, and all these different perspectives of other people who see reality completely different from you. You forget that they're their own separate human, dude. You're like, holy shit, bro, like, what the fuck? And a big thing for me is I was thinking a lot about my little brother, because I forget that he sees shit way different, because in his reality, I'm his older brother. You know, like, he sees shit completely different, is treated different just because he's my younger brother.
Right.
By even other extended family and stuff. And I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I'm a little too hard on him, but sometimes he just does shit that makes me like, bro, come on. But at the same time, I still feel like I should give him recognition for just, like, some of the stuff he does.
Dude, he's in the same fucking race that you are, bro. He's a human that's here, that's a part of this friggin' journey, you know. He's doing the thing, dude.
Yeah, bro, I'm still trying to, like, recollect a lot that's happening from our recent trip. The only thing that I could really, like, remember was what I mentioned earlier before we started this, which was my ego death. I made a video on that. But, yeah, I remember stepping outside for, like, by myself for a moment and just, like, thinking about death. Like, I just thought about death, and I was like, okay, what is death? Does it mark the end, or does it mark a whole new beginning, or does it even happen? Like, what is really death? And that thought was, like, with me throughout a majority of the trip until I had an ego death. Like, that's literally, but, like, the theme of the trip, I would say. Just me thinking about, like...
Did the ego death give you a sort of conclusion or a comfortable outlook on what you think death is?
I think so, yeah. Because I don't know, if there's one thing, I felt a lot more comfortable over the last few days. And I don't know why. Just, like, comfortable in my own skin. And like, it just, like, I feel like it really did dissolve my ego in a way, even though I still have an ego. It's like, it's not, I don't feel as attached to it, if that makes sense.
I think a big part of what ego death is for a lot of people is it's like almost a forced confrontation of the fear to die that every person has. It's because it's in all of us. It's our natural state of our brain being I don't want to fucking stop existing. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But when you release yourself from that, when you feel that ego death and you separate yourself from everything that you are, it almost sort of dissolves it, and that sort of, or at least takes you away from it almost.
Exactly.
Away from the ego?
Away from the ego and away from that fear of death.
Right.
Or it just eases the mind, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's, me and my brother were kind of talking about this the other day, that, like, it seems to be that there's two really types of ego death in the way it all plays out. That, like, the first being a sort of psychological, even though they're both psychological deaths, the first being, like, psychological introspection, looking into the sequence of thoughts and the inner narrative, you know, the mind, and becoming the awareness that is constantly behind it, and then, you know, realizing that who you are fundamentally is this awareness that is aware of everything, and you know what I mean? That's its own type of ego death. And then there is the other form of ego death where it's this sort of raw, primal, my body is dying, and you think your physical vessel is in danger and is dying, you know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with who you think you are. It's like, fuck all the philosophy, dude. I'm dying. That's a different type of ego death, but they both impact you in a very profound type of way, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Bro, that just makes me think about how I was laying there and I just remembered at that point, I remember...
Yo, hold on, I'll be right there, bro,
Okay.
Sorry.
He's a good piss, bro.
I'm right here, dude, I'm here for you.
Okay, I trust you.
Dude, I'm here. Don't forget what you were saying.
So, what I was saying was that I was coming up really hard. I think this was like around the point that I heard our other friend get up to go puke in the bathroom, and this dude was like, bro, like, fucking barf. There's like a bunch of different colors and shit. I was like, wait, that's not right. But anyways, I remember that was really like a huge turning point. I was like, I felt my hands sweating, dude. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was just trying to get my breathing under control. I was like, bro, like, I don't know if I'm going to make it past this.
Yeah.
Breathing is really interesting because it's something that happens autonomously of itself, but the second you become aware of it, it feels as though you're doing it.
Yeah. It's the same thing with blinking, bro.
It's a scam. Yeah, dude. Yes, you're so right. It's
You don't even notice it,
bro.
and you start
That's
thinking
such
about
a
it. It's
scam.
like,
now I gotta sit here and consciously blink because you just said that. Oh shit. When do I blink? When's the right time to blink? Dude, that's funny as fuck. That's so true. And we were kind of talking about it earlier, your stride.
Yep.
Like, once you become aware of your stride when you're walking, game over,
Yeah,
bro.
bro.
It's like, you look like a fucking robot, dude.
Like, just first learning how to walk, bro.
Dude, see how phony the self is when it tries to be
Yeah.
itself?
That's true.
You know?
You gotta stay on autopilot.
That's so silly. That's so epic.
That's hella funny.
I guess we already kind of touched on it, but like, how high doses of psychedelics gives you this feeling that what you are fundamentally is awareness. You know what I mean? That there's all these thoughts that are describing I'm awareness, or I'm my name, or I'm this body, and this is what I think reality is. But there is also innate awareness, seeing it all. You know, and what is that? What is that awareness of everything? Is that not who you are? You know what I mean? Is who you are that little dictionary of words? Kit Kat, you're wagging like a doll, Bubba. Wagging like a doll. You know what I mean? Have you guys ever had an experience like that where, like...
I've noticed it, but I haven't really, like,
Where you're
thought...
like, wait, what do you mean, like, experience, like, what? Like,
Yeah, I
like-
mean, kind of like you just said, Will. It can just be something you notice.
Yeah, where you,
I
you realize you start to analyze your thoughts instead of thinking them. At least it feels that way.
Right, like holy shit, I'm busy thinking all the time. I'm aware of my thoughts.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now you can see the thoughts happening. Have you heard?
Yeah.
Was it on psychedelics?
No, it's in general. I think
Just
it's
in general.
true if you meditate,
Right.
then you're thinking, well, what am I thinking? What's my next thought going to be? And then you start to realize, well, I'm not really sure. It's something that you almost control. And then that's when you start to realize, I think, that you feel that just awareness, because that's all you are. You're aware of your thoughts, because your thoughts just happen, even though those thoughts are thoughts.
Right.
But it's something it's just awareness of your brain and everything around you. But all you've ever been, and all you are, is what you see here. It's your senses.
Trust your nervous system, Timothy Leary. I love it. That's what he's talking about when he says that. What you're talking about right now, the here-ness of your feelings and your see, and like the emotional, sensual reality. That's your nervous system, you know, and like, how is that not you? How is that not you? You know what I mean? Like, You can think of it as your environment, you know what I mean? But that sort of like separates you from it, because like they go together. The organism and the environment, like I've heard Alan Watts talk about this, that like you can't describe an organism without describing the environment it's a part of. And you can't describe an environment without an organism in it. Because who the fuck's describing the environment? You know? Environment, world, and self are together. They're one happening. It's how reality occurs, you know? And there's an apparent separation, but it's not a real separation, you know? Now everything we've just been talking about is a good example of like how psychedelics have shifted my perspective of reality, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So
just how
I think that leads me to like one of my points that I wrote down was like time. Fuck, I'm saying it so weird, bro. Time, space, and probability. And I'm gonna address probability first because we've been talking a lot about time and space, so I might just do it backwards. But so probability, the more and more, and I like realized this the day I had my ego death with Will and our other friend, and I was like, bro, it feels naive to think that there is such a thing as coincidence. That there is.
Yeah, I kind of heard you talking about
there's
that.
Like an endless amount of possibilities that through like time and space, through like our 3 dimensions, that, you know, one, like an occurrence where, did I tell you about, okay, let me just tell the story so he hears it. So basically, my girlfriend, she was out in this city like a little farther away from where we live because she needed to go get a COVID test, and she ran into one of her teammates from a couple years ago in high school, and she was just like, oh, like what the fuck, like they ran into each other at like a Whole Foods at the same exact time, and it just made me think like he could have literally been there 10 minutes earlier. They would have never seen each other. It's like, why at that moment? Even if there's no specific purpose behind the meeting, I feel like that happened because it was almost like the universe is predetermined, and it determines every single action and behavior that goes on because it's not stupid. The universe isn't stupid. It plans everything.
Dude, and I've actually, this may sound weird, but I've had minor examples of that where I'll be like walking in like some area, like a neighborhood or something, and I'll have to cross a street that's like not busy at all, but a car will come by at the exact time I'm crossing the street. It's like, how does that happen at that exact second I'm walking across the street? Like, it's just, I'll think about minor examples like that in a way for probability, you know, for like coincidence. Like I'm
thinking of little stuff too right now, like the little stuff like, why did that have to happen just right when I was about to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, bro, it's like kind of like hindsight bias almost, where you're like, oh, bro, I bet that wouldn't have happened if I didn't think of it. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what did you just say?
Said that.
That wouldn't have happened if I didn't think of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like, what we call synchronicity, or like, as boring people would call it, a coincidence. I think a big part of what is going on is like, like say you see the number 11 one fucking time, and you go, you just kind of point it out to yourself, like 11. Or like, you look at, like, this is something that happens to me. I always look at the clock at 9:11. 9:11, you know? And like, I'll just check the phone at 9:11. And it's like, why am I, like, all the time? Once or twice a week, you know, I'll open my phone up and it's 9:11. And it's like, am I unconsciously doing, like, do I have an unconscious clock that makes my muscles check my phone at 9/11, or is it a accident? Is it a coincidence?
Right.
You know, or like,
Either.
or like when you see, like I was kind of talking, when you see the number 11, and then you're driving down the road and you see 11, and then you walk into a store and you see something's for $11, and then you're reading a book and you see 11 you're on page 11, and that's when you become aware of what page you're on is 11, you know, and you're thinking like, why 11? Why is 11 everywhere? But like, I think part of what's going on is that it's that you're aware of 11. You're just aware of 11. That's why you see it everywhere.
You know,
And that's how the mind works in a bigger scale, in an emotional scale as well. You know, like if you're thinking negativity is a synchronistic type, you know, it's going on. God damn, I'm seeing this everywhere. You're on the lookout. You're hunting for it. So you're going to see it a lot more because it's a part of reality. It's an apparent a part of reality, and it's not like if you think negative and have a shitty life, it's not fucking a coincidence that you're having a shitty life and shitty stuff constantly happens to you. You're just looking for the negative stuff. You know? It's a matter of what you're looking for that makes out like, I mean, you think about like accidental coincidences, like you drove by the same person twice in one day. I think I heard that or something from one of you.
Oh yeah, so I a couple days ago I was coming back from the gym, and then I drove past my cousin who was going home, and he only lives like a mile away from me. But you know, I drove past him. I was like, didn't really think much of it. And then later, just as I was leaving my house to go somewhere, I drove past him again, going back the same exact route. And then that same drive, I ended up going to the dog park to go take my dog to the park, of course. And I ended up seeing my cousin, I ended up seeing his mom and dad, so my aunt and uncle, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why did that all happen? Like, what the time span of one day?
So, like, calling that a coincidence would be implying that all of that was a ironic accident.
Yeah.
You know, but like...
But I just don't believe that anymore.
Nobody
you know what I mean?
accidentally did shit.
Like,
You know what I mean?
Well, it seems like we had the decision.
Yeah, everybody was on their own
Doing their own
proper schedule.
Well, yeah, we're all on a proper schedule, which makes me think, it's like, is there any free will? Like, are we even able
Dude,
to...
okay. So there's an awesome quote. Somebody asked a philosopher if he believes in free will, and he said, "Of course I do. I don't have a choice." That is some fucking deep shit, guys. You really need to look at that a few fucking times to get the belly laugh in that and to really hear what he's saying. You know what I mean? There is it's apparent. It seems as though there is free will. Because, like,
It's an illusion, yeah.
Like, I demonstrated this in one of my other videos that, like, I can't do it now that I'm aware of it, but, like, my hand will go up without me putting my hand up. But then I can think about putting my hand up and do it. And it appears as though I did it. But all that happened was that my hand went up and simultaneously a thought form occurred that said, I am making my hand go up, or I am lifting my hand. But it's the same as the hand going up minus the thought that thinks it's doing it. It's no different. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of attentive thought in, I'm doing this, or, you know what I mean? I'm making this choice. You know, like, you can't choose nothing. If there's something between two choices, try not to choose. Because deep down, that's a choice. to not choose, like that's how this incarnation works. Karma, action, constant doing. You can't not choose. You can't not do. You can't do nothing. You know what I mean?
Which makes me think that somehow psychedelics, like high doses psychedelics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about originally.
Yeah, right.
Like it almost shows you that reality is predetermined, and in a way, it's like I almost feel okay about that. Like I feel just fine. Like, oh, whatever. Like if it's all going the way that it's supposed to here, then you might as well just go with it and then free flow. And to me, it brings me to time, which makes me think if all like points of our life if it was all really predetermined, we have zero free will, and it's just basically fate, then
basically fake.
Not fate.
Oh,
like,
fate.
No,
Fate.
fate, like destiny.
Oh, okay,
Destiny,
okay.
no. And then what I'm thinking is that the past, the present, and the future, they all occur at the same time. Like
yeah,
that.
dude, I heard you talking about that in your video.
Like they're always going. And
dude,
and
it's the now, bro.
Yeah, like 5 minutes ago, bro, it's still happening. It's just being played out again and again.
5 minutes ago,
It's in our head.
Right now. Like you said in your video, I liked how you worded it. It sounded nice. That 5 minutes ago is still happening. Like now.
Yeah.
But I would give it a different spin and word it that 5 minutes ago is now a thought form right now.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean?
Bro, we're going so deep into this. Is so much fun.
Or like 5 minutes from now is a thought form right now.
Yeah.
That, like, in that way, yes, 5 minutes ago and 5 minutes from now are still happening. But it's really that you're just thinking about 5 minutes ago and thinking about 5 minutes from now, right now, that makes it seem like it's still happening, you know?
Well, it's not just that. It's just, to me, I think that nothing, like time, doesn't exist, that it doesn't move in a linear fashion. That it's all, like, if I can travel in a wormhole to the future or whatever, and then come back, then both of those times are happening at the same time, or like both of those realities are happening at the same time.
Time and space are like imposed on reality. They're not in reality. There's not inches and seconds in the fabric of reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not age in reality, which is a kind of hard thing to like
conceptualize.
Because it looks like, well, this universe is this old.
Yeah.
But like, you got to pay attention that you're always the creator, the dictator of this thing that you call time and age and space. You know, those things are as in reality as your thoughts are. Those things are as real as time and space is only as real as your own thoughts and how you imply them onto reality. You know what I mean?
Dude, time, on the majority of my psychedelic trips, I would say, actually, I'll basically like lose my grasp of time entirely, to the point where like I don't even really think about the time, like what time it is, or what was 5 minutes ago, what's 5 minutes ahead, or I mean where we're gonna be 5 minutes from now, anything like that. I'll like never get those thoughts, and then I'll start thinking, I'll get like a thought like, oh, this song's over. It's been, what, 5 minutes? Like, what? That was 5 minutes ago? I'll like think as if it was like...
Or like you feel like a song has been going on forever.
Forever, yeah. And then...
Because you're so in the moment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And yeah, to talk about psychedelics again, holy fuck. That's why people have some of the most traumatic experiences of their life is because, or think that the trip is never going to end, because these perceptions of time have completely broken down into the now, which is in essence eternal.
Yeah.
The moment is always
The moment.
and that's why it can seem like if you're in fear, it is intense, everlasting fear, you know what I mean? Or like, if you're in one of those trips, it can seem like this is never going to end. Or just a simple hour or even a minute is seems like infinity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trips, man, they're about 15, 20 minutes long. And it feels, when you're in it, it feels, I'd say, much longer.
Really?
DMT trips?
I-
You guys,
Like,
you guys talking about DMT
What
trips?
was your time orientation on that
non-existent.
right?
It's not
Right.
being a concern.
Right, it wasn't
It's like, it's not something that I'm like keeping track of. It's not something that I have to think about or worry about.
it wasn't even
Because
if it was
it's a man-made concept. That's the fucked up part.
like it wasn't quick or long.
Bro, that's how it is at work though. Almost like I'll be working at Starbucks. I'm like, I can't fucking stand this job. Constantly look at the time, bro. Like, when the fuck am I gonna be able to leave already?
We are enslaved
yeah.
by time.
Constantly checking your watch.
Yeah.
We are enslaved
Oh my
by
god,
time.
you know, the work life, dude. Is it almost lunchtime yet?
Yeah, for real. Bang on my break, look at my phone.
Dude, that's so funny, man. So another point I have here of how high doses of psychedelics can shift our perspectives of reality is, I guess, realizing or remembering the animalistic nature of yourself.
Wait, I think we already talked about this.
We
I think
brought
we've used the word
Yeah,
animalistic
we brought it up, yeah, for like a.
before a few times, but I don't think we like
Dove into it.
don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe we did. I don't know. Maybe I'm backtracking.
Honestly, I don't
Well,
even remember at this point.
I don't think I talked a lot about like my experience.
Yeah,
with that.
but like, you know, like for me, I go into like I'm high on psychedelics. I'm tripping balls, as we call it, and I go into the bathroom and look into the mirror, and my pupils are fully dilated, and I'm looking at myself, and my hair is growing, and my facial features are reconstructing themselves, and I look, and my beard is growing and shit. It's like I look like I feel and look like a fucking beast right now,
Yeah.
like a animal. Like it's like it brings you to your senses of being a organism
Yeah.
in life. You know what I mean? And like it's like LSD is something that's really shown me how life is pulsating through everything so intensely. Everything is alive, you know what I mean? And like when LSD is pulsating through you, you feel how alive you are. Your fucking skin and your organs and just everything. It's like you are on. Like Timothy Leary says, turn on, tune in, and drop out. It's like it turns you on, dude. And like it's like it takes the reality switch and turns it to the max. And all of a sudden you like, I don't know, it's this very wild
Awareness.
Yeah, kind of like a hyper awareness. Like
That makes me think about indigenous cultures and how like they're
Yeah.
so connected to the land, and you know they had to go hunt and shit. And when you're like physically exerting yourself, and having to go work towards something, you feel good. You're like, oh, you know, there's like so many studies behind how, you know, being physically active is good for your depression, or like prevents depression and anxiety, or, you know, helps ease it at the least. And you know, these cultures, they were so connected to the land, you know, eating plants and animals and shit, like actual lives shit. And now we live in a society where a bunch of different things are processed and it's like dead already, you know. It's not even real food, half of it. and we don't feel as great. We're not getting outside enough. We're not getting the sunlight and, you know, looking at the trees and feeling the grass.
I feel that hardcore, bro. I feel that deeply, you know, not only in society, but in myself. I don't go the fuck outside and just sit down enough. I don't feel the grass on my feet enough, or feel the oxygen going into and out of my lungs. The very happening, you know what I mean? And to talk about psychedelics, they can be a tool to bring you back into that happening, you know what I mean? They can show you that you're happening.
Yeah.
Here you are, type thing, you know?
Yeah. Dude, I think for animalistic roots, getting tapped to that into psychedelics, my second to most recent trip that I did, which was back in March, was about like 4 grams or so, and it was on a mountain, on a mountain that we live nearby a mountain where we live. And as I was like walking down this one trail, I had like this view of like a meadow and the sun, and all I could see was hills, and all that surrounded me was nature. And I literally felt like I was like a bear or some type of like beast, that I just reacted. I relied on instinct. I was like beating my chest. Like I said, I can't help but do that sometimes, or like let out a roar. For some reason, there's just times where I can't even help it. I just you know, I'm being myself, like being primal.
That's a form of purging, bro. Like,
just letting it out, basically.
Yeah, like, have you ever heard the term purging?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like when people puke
during
ayahuasca ceremonies, that's purging.
Yeah. Like,
I smoked DMT one time out in the woods and puked my fucking brains out, bro. And it was like, that felt very wild and animalistic, and like, I am a beast creature. Like, dude, it was weird.
Well, imagine you felt like almost some different energy when you were done.
What's that?
Like, I imagine you felt like a different energy when you were done.
Like, just...
Like, done throwing up and everything, like, feeling like, holy shit, like, I cleared a bunch of shit out.
Yeah.
I felt very, like... Not like predictably positive and purged of bad stuff, but I felt very spacey and like, whoa, holy shit,
like,
dude.
You
like,
emptied a bunch of like junk, you know.
Yeah, and like, I mean, we can debate whether or not it was just I took too big of a hit or something, but like, DMT doesn't chemically give you nausea. It's, you know what I mean? And I did cough out the hit. I blew it out and coughed, and I gagged when I coughed, so maybe that kind of catalyzed me puking. But yeah, that felt very primal and wild. And my brother, who was there, who had also taken a few hits prior to me puking, he got to just sit and watch me puke my brains out while tripping on DMT. And he was just like, dude. Straight up. Like, he was like, that was insane to watch. Straight up, bro. It's crazy.
Probably like blue shit coming out of your mouth that like looks hella distorted, bro.
Well, homie, what was happening, like, for me, when I was puking, I had my mala beads on. And when I was puking, that looked funny as fuck. When I was puking, my mala beads were like snakes, like, rolling through the puke, and it was all happening really quick, and it was like everything was blurry, tracers, like recursion, repeating, and I'm like puking and trying to keep my mala beads out of it, and I just remember seeing puke on the woods floor, and my mala beads like going through it all. It looked so crazy, and then after puking, I'm like standing up, spinning around in the woods, and all the trees look like these crazy, like, creatures, dude. It's nuts. I don't know how to describe it, man. It's fucking wild shit.
Dude, we gotta go visit you sometime and do some DMT together.
Do some DMT, man.
We've never done DMT, bro.
It's a very incredible experience when you get a good hit, man.
And I've heard, like, different people say like different durations for how long it lasts. How long does like the DMT high usually last?
Well, like, it depends on how you do it. Like, if you take a fat dab of DMT, like, right into a banger, it's gonna hit you immediately and last for probably, like, the initial trip is gonna last, like, 5 minutes, maybe a little longer, closer to 10 minutes. And then there's, like, a sort of 10 to 20-minute afterglow of you coming down. But sometimes, dude, the trips can be 3 to 4 minutes. Like, if I'm sitting there and I smoke it through there, I'm like all worried about this thing, and then I do it, and then it just happens and runs right through my system, and next thing I know, I go, I'm already back. Holy shit. How long has it been? It's only been a few fucking minutes.
It's like a
you know what I
roller
mean? And there's a
coaster.
slight come down phase, but like, if you were to do it in the way that I do it, it's going to kick in immediately, and you're going to be tripping hard visually, and, you know, you're going to be tripping balls for like 3 to 5 minutes, and it could go to the 10-minute range if you get a really in-depth breakthrough where you're just kind of soaring through the world of vision, you know? But yeah, it's a really brief experience. It's a really brief experience. But like, if you smoke changa, which is herbs that are laced with DMT that typically have an MAOI in them, which makes DMT orally active, you smoke that stuff and you don't feel anything kicking in at first, and you're like, what the hell? So you keep smoking it, and then all of a sudden you start to feel this fucking DMT thing coming over you over like 1 to 3 minutes, and you're going, oh, this feels kind of fucking familiar. I feel pretty trippy. And the Changa experience is like 20 minutes, a slowly released experience. And, you know, you can't get as deep with Changa compared to like pure crystal, but it's a lot slower and it lasts a lot longer, and it's got a very different vibe to it. But yeah, it's a quick experience.
Yeah, I feel like if I were to go back to a dose or any type of experience that was like near what we just experienced a few days ago, it'd probably be through DMT, because like I prefer a shorter experience, because I don't know, I just feel like I need some time away for a little while from psychedelics after that.
Yeah, there's no problem with that, man.
Yeah.
There's nowhere you're trying to get to. There's no rush.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no goal to get to a certain spot. But like with DMT, bro, you'll accidentally fucking go magnitudes beyond where you've ever been with LSD or mushrooms. That's the thing. DMT is a gateway into pure psychedelic realm, you know? But the thing is, it's not that fucking scary. It's not that, like, of a big deal in a weird way. Like, you can do it. You can do it. You're fine. But what you see and what you witness is like nothing you have ever fucking witnessed before. You know? And like, there's a lot less like worrying about who you think you are and ego death and how thoughts work while you're on DMT.
Because you just go straight into it.
You're being force-feeded these fucking hallucinations that are completely taking your attention away from everything else. You're like, what the fuck is all this?
It's not like a hella slow build up on like it is on shrooms or acid, where it kind of you slow.
It's immediate, bro. It's immediate.
Yeah.
It's immediate.
That shit sounds intense though, but. I don't know.
So guys, do you have anything you feel like you missed? I have one more bullet point that I can touch on.
Dude, honestly, I think I'm pretty much done.
You're pretty much done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said pretty much everything, but if you have anything more to say, go ahead.
Yeah, dude, I mean, my last point as to why, how high doses of psychedelics can shift our perspectives of reality is, I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but like, when whether it be on accident or if you tried to bring it about and induce it, communicating with intelligence in the psychedelic space, where usually on DMT, it's like thoughts are being given to you. You know what I mean? Thoughts are being put into your head, and it's like you're fucking learning. It's like this thing is talking to you.
There's a deep feeling that there's something there that knows something that you don't. That's it.
Yes,
like a lot of
dude,
people
yes.
say they're trying to show to you, or it's trying to show to you.
100%.
Something's trying to be shown.
It's like DMT more so than LSD, in my experience. But it's like there's this intelligence, there's this sentient awareness that is trying to convey this thing to you. And it's doing it through the hallucinations. It's trying to, like, show you what it's about and teach you what it's doing and tell you why it's doing it, you know? And it's like, look, this is why and this is how, and like, pay attention. This is what's going on. And your human mind isn't, like, able to grasp what it's trying to fucking tell you. And you come out of it saying it was gibberish, but, like, in the trip, it was this feedback between one source and another source, and it was trying to communicate with you, you know? And not to mention the fucking actual beings and humans and creatures you see while you're on DMT, you know what I mean? Like, and they're talking to you. They're conveying psychic impression into your mind. And it's like, what are these beings that are trying to communicate with? Where are they? And what are they? What level of reality are they functioning on? It's almost like DMT hallucinations are hieroglyphics that it's urgently trying to get you to decipher. You know? You had a trip like that. My brother has had many trips like that. I've had fucking trips like that where I'm looking at it and it's showing me what it is, but I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it's telling me in the same moment, but it's not words.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like this intelligence, man, that's beyond all of us. And it comes through in those high doses where the psychedelic really has hold over your physiological system, you know? It's very strange. It's very strange to feel like you're hanging out with other people or beings or intelligences while you're high as fuck on psychedelics.
I noticed that almost immediately, or at least a day removed from a pretty intense trip, similar to that, my brain immediately wanted to cope with what it had seen in the same way that it does with, like, dreams. Where you kind of push it aside and you're like, oh, it was just this. It was just an unconscious state of imagination.
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, it's something you were awake for. It's something you were present for. You knew what was going on. And that can be the same case for dreams.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's all get lumped in this thing that's not real.
Right.
Or this thing that's just, like, in the head.
It was just an hallucination.
That actually makes me want to bring up how, I don't know if this is true for you guys, but after, like, my last shrooms trip, last night I slept really well, but the 2 or 3 nights before that, I was having, like, intense dreams. Like, I was right back there tripping balls again.
Yeah, dude, I heard you
And
talking.
I was like getting up, like, I would get up after, like, maybe, like, the first sleep cycle that I had, and I would be sweating, and I'd be, like, hot. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. And the other night, I didn't really have any dreams like that last night, but the night before that, I had a dream where I wasn't tripping, but I was in, like, a city at nighttime, and it was snowing, and I saw, like, a funnel cloud touch down and turned into a tornado and got more powerful, and everywhere I ran without a jacket, it was cold outside, everywhere I ran, it was following us, getting stronger and stronger. I was with my girlfriend. We ran into like a restaurant, and it went right through there. And then I woke up, and I was just
that's so weird to think about. Like, what is that shit? What were you doing, bro? Like people think. I've heard a lot of like scientists or whatever, psychologists think that dreams are like unconscious way of practicing survival. You know what I mean? Like working out potential dangers and learning what you should still be afraid of so you don't go and do it while you're awake, and like it's a sort of training ground for survival, you know?
Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
I don't know if that's what's going on, because there's a psychedelic tone to dreaming that's very trippy, very amnesic, very sort of like dissociative and astral, you know, like it's fucked. It's fucked to, you're hallucinating. It's not reality, you know, what you call this, it's a inner hallucination. Dreaming is very fucking far out.
So, some might turn it around and say it's a dreamlike state that one feels on psychedelics too. It's very similar. For me, I've had multiple times where I literally felt like I was in a dream on psychedelics.
For me, Will, it's the day after when I've came down and look back on the trip that it seems like, dude, I was in like a dream realm. But while I'm there, it seems like reality. It seems like I'm there and this is happening and I'm tripping and holy shit, you know, but the next day and the following days, it's like, bro, what the fuck was I on? Like, what level was I at? Like, in the same way you'll wake up and go, what the fuck did I just dream about last night? You know what I mean?
It's like in a dream, it's there for a few seconds and then boom, it's gone. Like you forget about it really quickly. And it's kind of like that with psychedelics.
Yeah, like I was up at camp a week or two ago, and I woke up, and there's an outhouse outside, and I woke up and I was walking out to the outhouse, and I'm thinking of these crazy fucking dreams I had, and like, damn, this shit's crazy. I wonder if I should write this down. No, I'll probably remember it. This is a pretty crazy dream. As I'm coming out of the bathroom, as I'm coming out of the outhouse, I have no clue what I dreamed about. And I had just woken up, and I was only in the bathroom for like probably 5 minutes. And in that amount of time, everything that I was thinking about on the walk out to the outhouse was gone. And it was like on the tip of my tongue, like, what the fuck? I was just thinking this. And now I can't fathom it. Now I can't even comprehend it. And it's like you're seeing the images of the dream fading away, you know, and you can't word it. And you're like, I feel like this person was there, and I feel like I was in this place, you know, but like, it's gone. You can't recall it anymore. That's very DMT-like.
Yeah. Dude, I stopped, but for a while I was writing in a dream journal, and that's like the best way for me to remember it. Like, I still have recollections of some of the dreams that I wrote down, but it's like, now that I'm not doing that as frequently or really at all, I don't remember. I forget about them within like a couple hours of after waking up.
Yeah, you're just flowing with every day. Fuck it, all my dreams go burn off into the past. Yeah. Never to be seen again.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is, bros. It's weird how that works though, because it's like, it reminds me of like Alex was talking about when we were tripping. Your Mate Tom, you know the YouTuber Your Mate Tom. You guys know him?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, he was doing like an 8-gram dose or something, and he was trying to write down, like while he was tripping, like in a journal. It's like,
yeah, right.
I mean,
he's trying to translate psilocybin-induced fucking wisdom into the English language.
I think he like admitted that it was a stupid idea.
I guarantee he was aware of how silly it was.
He was like, yeah, bro, I was like so stupid for doing that. Dude, my phone's about to die soon, so.
What's that?
I said my phone is about to die soon.
You know there's these things called chargers, Alex?
Yeah, but you know, I just.
So,
So you just can't sit and have a 3-hour conversation like a man, bro. Come on.
Man.
No, I'm kidding. We've talked about a lot of good stuff, bro. I'm happy with this. I hope my screen recording went all the way through. But if not, I guess I'll just include what I got and then include the rest of it through what your guys' screen recording got.
Oh, bro, I totally forgot to screen record.
Dude, it's okay, dude. It's just gonna burn off into the past like our dreams, bro. We're okay, bro. It's
we got the audio. That's all that matters. We can put it on Spotify.
I'll just have to upload it through your screen recording, but it's fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna ask YouTube to make my subscribers have to pay to watch this.
Really?
Yeah, pay-per-view. That's what's up. That's how you get them views, dude. $30 pay-per-view. Yeah.
You actually think you're? Oh wow, dude. I don't even think we're at that point to even like.
And you're not able to skip through it. It's like a live video.
Still ads too.
Yeah, and there's hella ads and shit. You're not able to skip through it. You can't skip through it. It's live. $30. Take it or leave it.
You can watch it one time.
I'm just kidding. I love you, YouTube.
Oh, I was
you
like,
guys.
what?
Thanks for being my diary. Thanks for housing my diary of me losing my fucking mind.
Dude, this has been fun. I dig it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude, I always love a fucking collab, man.
I really feel like for a long time, I just couldn't sit down and focus on YouTube really because it didn't feel right, you know? And I feel like it wasn't genuine. And I finally had a big trip that's inspired me to think about all these new ideas. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to finally start recording videos again.
Yeah, man, like if you're just chilling and you're thinking about all this crazy shit, just put that camera in front of yourself, dude, and just talk. You know, like a lot of my videos, my most recent videos have been me just sitting there fucking talking about some random shit I was thinking of and the passing of the day, you know, and yeah, it's not formal and it's not like narrated and point for point, but it's just you living life. It's just you experiencing life, and you're in this little episode of describing how you feel. So, you know, get a video of it and post it on YouTube, and
it's unfiltered.
What everybody thinks is what they're gonna think, you know? It's not a job, this YouTube channel. It's just we're just
creative and just
we're just being creative, man.
Get other people to watch and listen and ideas, and that's pretty much the main goal.
Do you ever feel locked down because your YouTube channel is about this, so you can't make videos about this?
I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I'll get a thought like that, but for the most part I feel free to talk about most of the stuff that's on my mind.
Yeah, same here. That's why I got all those topics of what my channel's about, so that, you know, I got different types of crowds of people that are watching, you know, like I got the psychedelic viewers, I got the spirituality, philosophy, and psychology viewers, I got the people that like my nature and mushroom walk videos, and, you know, like, I'm leaving them in the dust by making all these spiritual psychedelic videos, but it's kind of just like a dance of content, you know, like, whatever you're feeling, whatever you want to do, you know, the people that want to see that shit are going to come and see it.
Dude, today I started working on a video, like, I'm going to call it a podcast, I guess, because I just use my phone, microphone, whatever. Not the greatest quality, I don't really care, but I was just talking through it and just free flowing, and I feel like it's a lot easier to be more articulated just sitting there, like not having to look at the camera and focus on the camera too much, you know?
So you're saying when it's just in audio form, it's a lot easier for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like, I've kind of thought about, like, it'd be cool to make, you know, those documentaries about, like, spirituality or psychedelics or something, or, like, society, and it's, like, beautiful videography, and there's a really cool narrative in the background, like a guy talking over it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that'd be cool to sit down and compile a bunch of videos that are relevant to the topic, and then write down a script, and add some music to the video and narrate through my script, make a really fucking formal documentary type video.
Shit, bro, I wasn't even like talking about doing that. I was like, I'm just using like stock videos of nature,
I've done that
as my voice goes over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that vibe, but like a documentary type thing covering a certain topic.
Now I know what you're talking about. I've seen other people make videos like that where it's like literally a storyline almost.
Yeah, it's cool. Like you just sit there and you're watching these clips of people living their life and nature overlooks and stuff, and he's talking about life and ego, spirituality. She's crazy, bro.
Anyways, man, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, man. I love it. I love having these collaboration conversations, dude. What is this? Number 5?
I think this is 5.
Wow,
yeah.
5.
4 or 5, yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, thank to you two and to you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for joining.
For collaborating, making another episode happen. And to the viewers, thank you all so much for watching. You give these videos so much more life just by knowing you've watched them and put your own 2 cents into it. So yeah, thank you everybody. This has been an awesome video.
Exactly. Thank you guys for watching, and PsychonautVisions signing out.
Northwood Shaman signing out. See you guys.
See you guys.